This off to your hand. Right, you've got it on alright?
Yeah.
Just make sure it's on okay. It's not get some in properly, but...
Hi there, this is Asgar.
Right.
Asgar is a common buzzard. That's a bird of prey you find in Scotland, also the rest of the UK. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Alright.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just moving.
Yeah. The wind is blowing under her wings, so it's making her lift her wings up.
It's alright, she's not getting it right. Okay? Right.
So this is a female. In the wild they can catch rats, mice, but they'll also go into fields, they'll eat earthworms, small lizards, small birds, bigger birds, and by the sides of the road they eat things that have been hit by cars. So dead animals at the side of the road, the buzzards will come down and eat those as well. Scavengers as well as hunters. They're very, very common on the outskirts of towns and cities where there's fields, parks, anything like that, you'll find buzzards. You'll see them as you're driving along, they'll be at the sides of roads, they'll be up in the air, they'll be in trees, very, very common.
Alright, thanks a lot. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you very
Okay?
much. Thank you.
So if you just come a wee bit closer, that's you. You're welcome.
Here is we're making a collage for a book that's called The Lost Words, and the book is about trying to remember and keep words in common usage so that we remember them, and because if we remember the name for something we tend to care more about it.
Exactly.
And so we've gathered lots of different little pieces of nature. So this one's moss, sphagnum moss. This one here is called cypress tree. This one here is a type of pine tree, and we have this one, which is a lovely name. It's called Honesty. Yeah, Honesty.
Honestly.
Yeah, and we have the cone of the Christmas tree, which is a Norway spruce, and obviously it's from Norway, but they grow very well in this climate here in Scotland as well. And inside all the little gaps, that's where the seed is kept. And we turn it upside down and a lot of the seed falls out.
Okay, thanks a lot. The same as we said, we have this in my country, it's called sonauber, and the seeds is very big and we eat it as a nut.
It's an albor, a pine nut, I'll remember now. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yes.
So I'm with Saving Scotland's Red Squirrels, and we're a project that's trying to make sure red squirrels stay around. Grey squirrels were introduced back in the Victorian times, and they've taken over a little bit too much, but we're really lucky in Scotland because we've got 75% of the population of reds still around, so we're just trying to make sure they still have a home. So we're just letting people know about that and letting people see the squirrels up close as well, and just a bit more information about what we're doing.
Okay, thanks a lot.
So what these are aquatic insects, or insects you find living in the water, and most of them are in their sort of young stage before they hatch into adults. So when they hatch, they usually leave the water. So they use the water as their habitat when they're young. The reason we're looking at them is because some of them really like and stand pollution, and some of them really don't like pollution. So for instance, we use this it's called Riverfly Partnership sort of survey, and there's things like mayflies. So these are all mayflies, and they can't stand any sort of pollution. They need nice clean water with lots of oxygen in it.
Right.
So if we don't find any of these in the sample, we know that maybe it's not the cleanest water, there's maybe a lack of oxygen. So from there we're able to find out if there's an issue with the water, and it's a lot cheaper than doing chemical analysis of the water.
And even if you find that, we know like that water is clean and drinkable.
Probably not drinkable for us. I wouldn't ever recommend drink. Even in Scotland, where it's nice and clean, but you could probably boil the water. So filter it out and boil it, and then you could drink it. So Scottish water is still quite clean, but you never know what's up the hill. It's maybe falling into the water.
You have those insects. You have it just now here.
I have. So I do have some. So here, this one here is a stonefly, and you can tell because at the bottom of it has two tails. So two tails. So, and that's how you can identify that as a stonefly. Now, it could be a mayfly that's just lost a tail, which does happen, but that's a stonefly. And again, it likes nice and clean water, so if it's not clean, it won't be there. And then I know maybe something's wrong and I have to check out if there's pollution or maybe something's wrong with the site. And because a lot of fish eat these insects, that's why we look at them, because if there's not enough insects there, then maybe there's not going to be enough fish. And that's why we're not finding the amount of fish we expect, because the insects have disappeared.
That's brilliant.
Yes. Little bugs that have made cases out of what is surrounded by them. They're called cased caddisfly larvae. And because they're quite soft and delicate, they've decided to, almost like a hermit crab, they've got a kind of shell around them, and they've built that out of what they found around them. Now, there's actually quite a famous jeweller who's actually put these cased caddisflies into a tray with bits of gold and little precious stones, and they've made their case out of the gold, because they'll make a case out of whatever they're surrounded by. So it's quite interesting. They're able to use what they're surrounded to protect them.
That's amazing. Honestly.
Yeah, they're very, very cool. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
That's alright. So it's really good. It's a really good project for. So you don't have to be an academic or a scientist to do this work. It's called. A lot of people can do it in their spare time as a hobby. Go down to their local barn and just see if it's healthy or not. And they can actually put that data into an online national website, and they can see whether or not their burn is healthy or not compared to what they should expect.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. And I think this way will be cheaper, much more like than bringing scientists to work in chemical to find out if that healthy or not. That's what.
Yeah, so it's actually lots more hands-on. It's a lot more interesting. And again, you don't need that chemical science. You don't need a lab or anything to do this work. You just need some nice trays, a spoon, and a net. So you just need a net over here that we use. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for this information.
That's okay.
So these are carved by a guy in Scotland, and they're for making pencil holders. So yeah, you assemble the pieces to make these wooden animals, and well, this is meant to be.
That's cool. Yeah?
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, and that's the idea. You just put them together.
Shall we make now one just now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you put the legs.
That's a body, yes.
Yeah, that's the body, and then you use this for the feet.
Right. That's a feet legs.
And then you make the neck for the head. And these are the heads.
Right.
So yeah, just put on like that. And then you use another two of these for the antlers. So these are the antlers. That's a pencil holder.
That's become a pencil holder.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
What do you do to clean your teeth?
I buy something from Asda. At the same time, I use something natural. It's called miswak.
Miswak, yes, yeah.
You know that?
Yes, absolutely. In other parts of the world, also miswak is used. In Africa, in the Middle East mainly. In the Indian subcontinent, they use neem. So it's neem, it's a neem tree.
Yeah, right.
So again, very good, similar to miswak, used traditionally for brushing the teeth. In Scotland and most of Northern Europe, in the days in past times, people would use willow. From the twigs from the willow tree.
Right? What a tree.
Willow gives us aspirin.
Aspirin.
Yeah.
Made from
But
aspirin,
the
right?
willow tree twigs you can use like this one. Chew it a little bit. Use it to clean your teeth, and it's antiseptic, anti-inflammatory,
and astringent, so it tightens and tones the tissue of the gums and helps keep the teeth clean. Yeah, and it neutralizes the acid in the mouth as well. So what do you think the toothpaste is made from? If you buy Colgate, what's in it?
Chemicals?
Chemicals. What kind of chemicals?
I don't know.
So you've got something that makes a paste, yeah? So you've got a base, usually a gel made from seaweed or plant gel, yeah? Or something like that. Today we're going to use coconut oil, okay? What else is in it? Some toothpaste you have baking soda, so sodium bicarbonate, yeah? Which is alkaline, so it helps neutralize the acid in the mouth. Lots of toothpaste have calcium in them, calcium carbonate. It's the same as chalk. So we can use some of this. It's a very traditional ingredient, and it's used for it's a gentle abrasive, so it helps clean stains off the teeth, helps keep them clean. And we've also got charcoal, which is very fashionable. Charcoal's a bit different. It acts like a magnet, and it draws out the impurities from the teeth and gums. But we can use a little bit of glycerin. Glycerin helps make a nice paste. It's also slightly sweet. And we can use a natural sweetener. This one's called stevia. It's made from a plant that grows in South America, but it's a lot sweeter than sugar, but it doesn't harm the teeth. It's got no calories, so it's very good. And we can also use plants. So things like this. This little plant here is one of the most commonly and widely folk medicine. So folk medicine is what ordinary people used to do to help keep themselves healthy and treat ailments, common ailments. So Western herbal medicine is a much more systematic method of treating illness. So like Ayurveda or like Unani Tib in the Middle East, you get all these systems of medicine, traditional medicine systems, and Western herbal medicine is the system of medicine that was traditional in the West. Folk medicine is what ordinary people did. So we're going to do a very simple homemade toothpaste using this little plant. It's called ribwort, and you can see it's got ribs, yeah. And if any plant with the name wort, W-O-R-T in English, means it was a medicinal plant. So there's a plant called pilewort. Do you know what? Can you guess what that was for? Yeah, piles or hemorrhoids. Yeah. So pilewort. The roots of the pilewort were used for treating hemorrhoids. St. John's wort. Yeah. St. John's wort was used. It's used for treating depression, and it's also an antiviral, and it's very, very effective. This one, ribwort, it wasn't used to treat the ribs, but it's got these very prominent ribs on the back. Yeah? Okay. So we'll take 2 calcium tablets. It's going to look like this. Now, it's quite dry, so we can use, this is glycerin, so it's made from plants. It's a sugar molecule, but it doesn't have any calories. So we'll take, it helps to make it a smoother paste. It also is a slight sweetener. So we can take 2 teaspoons. This is glycerin. So initially, at first, the toothpaste will taste quite salty, but after 24 hours, it mellows. So now, I've run out of cinnamon, But we can have, you need to decide as a group. We've got sage. So this little toothpaste here it's very traditional. In Bulgaria, well, you can choose either sage or peppermint.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there was somebody else. 9, 10. If we get 9, that's great.
Then we put more if
If there's one spare, it would be good. Then I can use that to show people what it's like. Otherwise.